Good morning, guys. So, figured I'd record a video as I'm sitting here drinking my coffee and loving my life right now. It comes and goes with what, car lifing brings. But today, so far, granted it's early, I'm loving it. I'm loving my life. So I wanted to record a video on the 3 things that I absolutely love about car lifing and even how they differ from the last time that I car lifed. I have been car lifing on and off for the last 3 years. I'd say it probably in those 3 years totals about a year and a half, I would say. And this time, granted, I'm only about 2 weeks in, so I'll probably have to do another video in the future of where I stand on car lifing. But it differs a lot because the last times that I car lifed, I was doing it for a different reason. I was doing it to go well, not really travel even. It was to go to a certain place and climb or snowboard, and I would just stay in the same area, and that was it. It was, when I would get the urge to go travel, it was like, oh, I don't want to go too far out of the way, because overall I want to be over here and I don't want to spend all that money on gas, and what am I even going to find that, I didn't want to be disappointed. I didn't want to go to somewhere and be like, this wasn't that great, and now I just wasted all this time. So now with this new mentality of I can go anywhere that calls to me, and I'm allowing myself the freedom of, I'll call it finances, and also just the freedom of exploration, that there is no end goal. And when there is an end goal, it's probably going to change. Like I've said before in some TikToks that I've done, I am currently up in Mount Shasta, but before I got up here, I was headed to Arizona, and I woke up one morning and I'm like, for some reason I'm going to Mount Shasta. And if you look on a map, they're in the complete opposite directions. So it's like giving myself the freedom of exploration as well. So either way, that was quite a long intro. Let's get into the video. If you like my stuff, if you like my content, you like my videos, you like my personality, click subscribe, and continue to follow me, because you and I will know probably about the same time where I'm going next. If you know anybody that likes my videos or would benefit from them, click share and send them away. 5 things that I absolutely love about car lifing right now. I would say the first one is like, I'll call it the camping mentality. Before, I was strictly living in my car. I had it built out so that I can live in there. I had extra storage. I had all this other stuff, but that confined me in some ways, because every night I was sleeping in the car. I wasn't really excited about it. I wasn't really happy about it. And I mean, how about this? There were nights that I was just like, ooh, it's like a cozy little cave for me. But there was a lot of nights where, I sleep in a RAV4. Granted, I'm 5'3". I fit pretty perfectly lengthwise, but how I had it built out, I'm a side sleeper. And so it was like doing a roll in a coffin. You're hitting your shoulders, and it was tight at times, and that would wake you up. And plus it would get warm in there, or sometimes it would be cold in there. It was so hard to navigate in the car. And now I'm living, I'll call it, out of the car. So meaning I have all of the amenities to sleep in the car, but I would say since I've been doing this in the last 2 weeks, I would say 10 days have been out of my tent one day has been in a room that I rented from somebody the other night, and the other time would have been, and I don't know if that math just added up, probably didn't, but I would say vast majority is out of a tent, and once in my car and once out of an Airbnb. And it's just amazing. Don't get me wrong. There are some nights I do not sleep because so far it's been, pretty cool. And I'd say 2 nights I haven't slept well because it was cold. I mean, every jacket I own, every blanket I own, and I still am waking up with like those air pockets of, that's not good. But with time, I will be able to manage that better because I will be like, you know what? Because I'm already starting to feel like I know some of the amenities that I need in order to continue to do this. And it's a trial and error. So, but either way, the camping mentality of like being in a tent, waking up in the morning, seeing a beautiful sunrise in, I'll call it the middle of nowhere, and also like showing up to, here I am at this lake drinking coffee that I made out of the back of my car. It's just, I don't know, there's something about being primitive that I absolutely love and will continue to do. Number 2, as I alluded to before, there is this sense of freedom, going anywhere, that I didn't have before because, once again, I had like a pre-planned, I'm going here, I'm gonna land here and stay here for about a month, and then I'm gonna go to this next place. I never really had the flexibility, I never allowed myself the flexibility. I had the flexibility, I didn't want the flexibility. I loved relying on schedules and plans and knowing where I was going and what I was doing next. Going to X place to go climbing and then moving on in whatever, 5 days. But now I am just allowing. And if you've seen my last video and also a couple of my TikToks, I have been here in Mount Shasta and I kind of got the inkling that I'm going to Oregon. So I went to Oregon for 3 days and never been and didn't really have much of an itinerary. It was just something that was calling to me. So, yeah, now I have this flexibility. Now I have this I'm allowing myself the actual freedom of going places and doing things and actually experiencing things. There's still some resistance in it, of like, I still feel the old ways of like not trying to settle down so much, but maybe have some roots so that I'm not moving around all the time, so that I do have some of that control, some of that planning, some of that, but I just kind of acknowledge it and still listen out for whatever is next, whether it's through talking to people and they're like, hey, I have a friend that lives in, or a lot of times I get through like flyers on bulletin boards and stuff of like going to this place, or I don't know, but when it feels right, then I go, all right, time to go. And no shame and no guilting. It's so much more freedom and flexibility than I allowed myself before. So then that goes without saying, for number 3 is the growth. I just love the growth that is happening in the last 2 weeks. It's hard. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you've seen some of my previous videos, there's so many things that are coming up because I am acknowledging this need for control, this need for planning, the fear of the unknown, and so many other things. But with that, just like I said before in number 2, with freedom, is like there's so much growth in just kind of leaning into this and trusting that this is what's right for me. Acknowledging that I'm out here on, I'll call it a journey to learn myself and to also understand some of the things that are holding me back, some of the things that are holding me stuck. And I get to see all of these patterns head on. And I can resist them. I could have them not change. And I feel like that's when times get really hard, is when you're resisting that want, or you're resisting the changes that are coming. You're trying to still force yourself into that box of sameness and no change. And it's like, if you can allow, if you can just surrender, that's when the real growth and real understanding happens. So I would say those are my 3 biggest things that I absolutely love right now. And yeah, I'm sure they're going to change, because there's so many little things that I just absolutely love too. Like the fact that between this time and last time, I now have more clothes to choose from, instead of wearing the same clothes for a week at a time and, basically you have the same outfit every single day. I allowed myself to have so many different clothes in my car. Granted, they take up a lot of space. And yeah, I don't know. There's so many things that I'm starting to do and change that are maybe outside of what my norm would have been before. And with that, I feel like there's just so much creativity and expression in this. And I'm finding out ways to do more and more of that. So now that my face looks all modeled because of this shadow, I am going to probably go get dressed, finish my coffee, and yeah, start my day. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.